What's up, everyone? Dem Boys back at it, man. Wanted to give y'all an updated salary cap lineup. We got the new season starting. I figure we'll have some new folks hopping in there. Shout out Don Civic. We had played and he was asking me about this. So let's start on the defensive side because that's what's changed the most. So to run this scheme, you want to save cap. So you do not want to have a nickel corner if you want to run a 3-4 odd heavy blitz scheme. You start to think about it, you know, what, 70 cap easy for, okay, so that's 60 additional cap that I can spread out over the remainder of my secondary. So my guys can be that much better, right? So Cromartie, jump ball is huge, right? So I want to have speed, acceleration, agility, jump ball on Mutthead. You look that up. That is huge, 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 especially if you're going to play man. Length. I prefer my corners to be big, physical, lengthy. Everyone in the secondary, you know, good press, obviously, to run this. And then we're going to put manned up on both of our corners and one of our safeties. Again, I want to have a safety with high speed, agility, man, press, same things. That's why I really love Rod Woodson, especially with 49ers pass D, which I have cranked up. So you'll notice, you know, my safeties are getting quite the boost. Warner gets a nice little boost. Um, so that's how you need to set that up. As far as the players specifically go, Crow is a budget animal. Crow is like the best corner in the game this year. All right, period. He just is. He's a monster. I have Sprinter maxed out to get that speed up. I have Madden as well. As I've told you guys, I typically do want 98 speed or so on the corners, but you know, 97, it'll work, especially with Crow. He just jumps everything, guys. Jalen Ramsey is the GOAT. Okay, I powered up Night Train, got rid of him in like a day and a half. If you want to put Enforcer on Night Train's worth having, but in salary cap, it's not too likely you're doing that. That is the only reason to have Night Train over Ramsey. The only reason. Ramsey is much better in coverage, and Ramsey completely and single-handedly destroys the run. You run a stretch over to Ramsey's side, erased. All right. Um, again, Taylor Mays, tall, fast, right? So at linebacker, the things I always talk about when you're running a blitz scheme like this, we're trying to get free runners in. So we just need guys who are fast and who have acceleration. So we want to spend our cap on coverage, right? Speed, acceleration, coverage ability. The reason we want those things, so then Shazier would be my user if I'm using a linebacker. Primarily Taylor Mays would be my user. Um, but the nice thing here is now versatility, right? Because obviously you're a little bit weaker pass defense in 3-4. This is how we bolster that, and it does not affect our pass rush. We just don't have to spend cap on pass rush, and we will generate more pass rush than in any other scheme possible, right? Because we're sending 7, maybe 8. A big change here, guys, is on the D line. Obviously, you want to go with star. That's your 10 cap with good strength. That's just what you do. You're never going to want to spend more than 10 cap on a DT. Not worth it. The next thing that you want to ignore as much as possible is going to be your ends, right? And then linebackers, and then secondary is the most important. So it's really just as we work our way back, you need better overalls. Now, I'm tinkering back and forth with Tuitt. Tuitt's one thing that could change. Otherwise, this lineup it could be locked in. I could roll with this for the duration. So my experiment was I got Tuitt and I boosted it up to 94, and I wanted to see if it made a difference in my run D. Because I told you guys on the offensive side that 94 was where you really notice a difference in your offensive lineman in the run game. 92 overall lineman and a 94 overall lineman are two very different things in this game. And it did not hold true that way really on defense, so now I'm kind of weaning him back. So I would say this: if you want to put more money into, say, your running back or some other things like that on the offensive side that I'll be showing you here, your tight end maybe, those things, if you're a run heavy type guy, you might even lower the overalls on these ends. That having been said, this means Joe Green has made more impact than any defensive lineman that I've had all year running this scheme, and he's done it in a relatively short period of time. So if you can afford the cap, I strongly recommend physical Mean Joe Green for a defensive end. You know, 81 speed, 85 excel, 97 strength. He's just been an animal. He's actually been able to shed and rip off some sacks in this, which is crazy. Typically, your ends are not getting sacks. So that's kind of the where, who, what's, whys, all that fun stuff. So again, I have 49er pass D cranked up, lockdown cranked all the way up, and then sprinter cranked all the way up. Obviously, all the Madden stuff, right? But so let's check out offense real quick, guys. So if you're a little more run heavy guy, you could definitely crank up your running back. Maybe have a better blocking tight end, right? Um, Unless you're going to boost these guys up to like 94 overall, there's really no reason to have them any higher than this. You will not get much of a difference in play from a 88 to a 91. You really don't. It's at 94 that you start to notice significantly less shed. Now, as we set these guys up, again, 85 is your magic number for pretty much all traits on the offensive line. They will just perform a bit better at 85. So I've got my 89 pass block. Now, if you run pulls, you do want to have at least one guard with 85 lead block. All right. So Bruce Matthews at 88 overall has 85 lead block. So if I'm, if let's say Yondo was pulling, I would flip the play and make it so Matthews is pulling. You will have very little luck with a pulling lead blocker if they have less than 85 lead block. That is important. The reason my center is a higher overall than anyone else along the line is because of awareness. He has high awareness. Awareness on your center. So awareness is averaged out between your offensive line. That's just how they do it. But center counts double. So you want to have a high awareness center. That's why you'll see people spend more cap on centers, and then typically, of course, your tackles for the edge. Yonda's just a good cheap guy, 84, 85, whatever he's inside. I wouldn't hold it against you if you brought him down even more if you're pass heavy. Ogden's good there. Ingram. So here goes what I'm looking for at the tight end position, especially if we're running anything where you have tight ends on posts coming across the field, or crossers, anything like that out of your tight end. I really want to have a minimum of 87 speed. In a perfect world, obviously, if you're trying to run someone across the field as fast as possible, probably like 89 or so. What happens if you have much less than 87, though, is they're not going to get to their spot before you get shedded, typically. And it's just going to become a lot harder to make that read, or you're going to have to make the read a lot faster, which is doable, but it may not be there earlier, right? So keep that in mind. And then, of course, we just want to 10 cap everything else. The reason I do not have a fullback in, this is huge, of course, the wide receiver glitch, right? If you only have one running back on your roster, when you go dual halfback, it'll put your third highest rated receiver in as the dual halfback, right? So Cribbs is now my fullback. Again, if you're run heavy, maybe you have a lower third and, maybe you have a fullback. But honestly, what I would do more so than anything is just check out my video of how to put a linebacker at tight end and then put your tight end at fullback. Just to, again, save cap as much as possible, because that's really how we're affording all this stuff. I found a lot of ways to save cap, which is why I have such a good defense, why I have such good receivers, why I have a good quarterback. So definitely keep those cap-saving things in mind. Cribbs is just cheap speed. It's cheap speed, right? 98 speed with all my boosts. I don't really care as much about their catching, guys, especially if you're watching my swerve video. Watch the swerve stuff, or even my highlight video today. I show more of that. When you start forcing animations, particularly we're usually forcing dive or possession catch animations, catch stats become irrelevant. Post corner elite, things like that stuff will matter. But catch stats become irrelevant. So what I mean by that, if you're in a tight area and you hit the swerve and you hit it clean, they're going to catch it, period. Doesn't matter, right? They're going to catch it. I don't care what their catch is. You swerved away to avoid contact from the defender. It's a clean catch as you fall down, or you've hesitated on the route to create the dive. We all know when they lay out and you have that dive animation, they catch the ball. It's the way it works, right? So where corner, where elite route running on whatever route you're doing, I run post flag, whatever, where the elite route stuff comes into play is when you're swerving into tight coverage and there's a little bit of contact and it's really kind of a bogus tight window. That's where they'll go ahead and catch it. All right. So really, you could just find the fastest guys with the worst catch that can have post flag, if that's primarily what your offense is going to be, and do it, right? For me, Calvin with 99 speed, 99 jump, all that, that's just too much for me to ignore. Plus, it will allow me to sometimes try to just do little swerves on goes and then egg catch people. And he's Calvin, man. He's Calvin. We all know about Calvin. Just a monster. Alright, guys, so I wanted to show you this quick because ultimately the proof is in the pudding. So I've played 5 games today, and as you can see right here, we're in the top 10. I did go 5-0 and get a Super Bowl win. So, it's just a matter of playing more games at this point, right? But there you go. You can see I already got the Super Bowl. So that's the kind of damage you can expect to do with this scheme if you put in the time to master it. Just to show you that it is worthwhile. Also, we can take that a step further and go look at head-to-head. So now keep in mind, I do this with my salary cap team. So I've taken a salary cap team and I've put myself in Legend Division. You're going to take some L's here and there. I go between Legend and MVP just because sometimes that first playoff game that you have to win to stay in Legend, I'll get put up against like some 98 overall team, and every once in a while, look, you get a good player with a 98 overall team, 90 overall team might just go ahead and fail you a bit. But anyways, guys, the proof is in the pudding. Hope y'all like this. Like it if you liked it. Comment, and most importantly, subscribe. Them boys. Peace.